Hello, everybody. My name's Madge Dresser. I'm an academic historian, a popular historian, and somebody who's done a lot of work with memory, the legacy of slavery, commemoration, ethnic minorities, and reaching out to asylum seekers and refugee groups. My own story is that I am the grandchild of the people in back who were economic and political refugees from Europe, Eastern European Jews, on both sides of the family, but they came before the Holocaust. This month marks the anniversary of the massacre and the genocide in Srebrenica. And there is today a lot of denial about that this actually happened, that it was a genocide. And I think it's really important, particularly today with everything that's happening with COVID and the instability of the world, that we keep a handle on remembering and commemorating what did happen in history. We can all have different takes on it, but as my Aunt Lala used to say, what's right is right. There has been a lot of denial that the genocide ever took place or that it was genocide in Srebrenica. And similarly, there's been a lot of recasting of what the Holocaust and the murder, not just of 6 million Jews, but of other groups such as the Roma and Jehovah's Witnesses and all sorts of people, what this actually means for today and how it's been hijacked, if you like, or used by groups to serve their own ideological purposes. So I think we need to be very, very cognizant that the way we remember things informs the way we conduct ourselves today. Swirling around in all sorts of social media platforms today is a thought that if you are not one of the most dispossessed people economically, that genocide can't happen to you. In 1939, in Warsaw, 60% of doctors were Jewish. You would have thought if you had 60% of doctors and Jewish, and a lot of the Polish people in Poland were peasants and poor, what could possibly happen to doctors or people who owned hotels or what have you? Tutsis were economically better off on the whole than the Hutus. You wouldn't have thought that the Tutsis would ever be vulnerable to genocide. But all you need is a bit of resentment simmering in the background, and radio stations and news agencies and people talking about a particular group in dehumanizing languages, making them seem like conspirators, making them seem as less than human, not one of us. And it's that othering of people that can flip, even people who've known each other for years and got on personally, into demonizing the other. So whenever you hear language like that against a particular group of people, even if they don't seem the most oppressed to you, just remember that things can flip and people can be killed in terrible ways. So when you hear that language, wherever it is, you challenge it because it's not true. We're all part of the human race, no matter what our positions. I just think that what we all need to do, even when we don't recognize the stories or the histories that other people claim to have had happen, is to listen to them. And whenever we see a group of people who claim that they have been persecuted and that genocide has been committed, that atrocity has been committed, it's very, very important to listen and not dismiss people because you don't feel that they're telling the truth or that things can't be that bad or what have you. We've seen the cities erupt all around us right now about the persecution of Black people in America and elsewhere by the police. And I think it's really important to listen to what people are saying, because I think there's two levels at which we can address the kind of hatred. One is structural, the kind of disadvantage and hatred that we can see replicated throughout the world at the moment is embedded in our systems. So it's all very nice to be nice to each other and kind to each other, but unless we can challenge these structural inequalities and make it count in practice, these can be ineffective. However, having said that, every action does matter, because every time you reach out to somebody and show kindness and show that you are listening to their stories and their experience with respect will be so important, whether it's mentoring, whether it's standing up if you hear a racist remark, whether it's challenging bigotry, wherever it comes, even from oppressed groups, even though their position in the power structure is different than people who enjoy white privilege and what have you. I think it's really important that everyone tries to act in an ethical way and to recognize our common humanity. We need to somehow find a way of this, not sort of dwelling in the polarized different histories and getting hate in your heart against those other people, but to sort of see if there's a way forward, because we're all on this earth and the earth is finite and we all have to live together.